something about you. Got me feeling like I can't be without you. Anytime someone mention your name, I be feeling as if I'm around you. Ain't no words to describe you, baby. All I know is that you take me high. Can you tell that you drive me
Andy,
crazy?
you sure do know how to break a guy's heart. Hey guys, welcome back to Kellie TV. I felt so bad for the guy who got sent home in this episode, and we'll get to that a little bit later. So we're down to just 3 guys, and they're in the Dominican Republic, and this is the sweets date, and we have Chris and Nick and Josh. So first up we have Nick. And Nick has, as you know, aggravated me through most of this season, but he really has grown on me. He kind of grew on me with his family. I kind of liked his family, loved his little sister, and I'm liking him in this date as well. So they spent the day on a private island. Really, they had pretty much the best date of all 3. It was beautiful there. It looked like they had a great time. And then, like, my favorite part of this date was that Nick wrote her, and it looked like, I guess, he illustrated a super sweet, almost like a children's fantasy story about the time that he had spent with her. It was really sincere and heartfelt, and it was a side of Nick that I hadn't seen. So it made him like really endearing to me, and I'm just kind of surprised. And maybe Nick is someone who it just takes time to get to know. And I know a lot of people don't like him, but I don't know. I mean, he kind of won me over on this date. He just seemed really sincere. I think he really, really cares for Andy, and I think he's going to be super devastated if she doesn't end up picking him, because, you know, he's told his family that it was very hard for him to get over past relationships. He was engaged to someone and she broke it off, and it took him like 6 months to even be able to talk to other people. So it's going to be really, really, really heartbreaking for him if this doesn't work out. So up next, she had a date with Josh, and they were kind of exploring downtown, and it really helped out with him because he's fluent in Spanish and he was just getting along with the townspeople. And the coolest part of their date was that she played baseball and he played baseball with like the kids in town. He thought it was really awesome that she's willing to do things that he's interested in, and she's pretty athletic, so it all works out. You gotta admit, these two look pretty much made for each other. They look awesome together out of the 3 guy options, and I could just tell such a big difference in Andy when she's with Josh as compared to Nick on the first date, because she just had this great chemistry with Josh. She seemed at ease with him. She said that he makes her feel young and alive, and that really comes across when they're together, much more so than when she was with Nick. She said she could see him as a great father, and they ended up having a nice dinner, and he's telling her that he loves her and he can see her as his wife. So I just feel, guys, like she's going to end up picking him in the end, because they just have this connection that I'm not seeing with any other guys, that I haven't seen with any other guys in the whole show. And like I said, they look perfect together. I mean, you can't get much more perfect. So it was time for her final date with Chris, and they were riding horses in the countryside, and she was a little bit scared about this because she said she hadn't ridden horses since she was a child. But of course, Chris was really, really helpful and supportive of her in this. And she kept saying over and over that she wasn't sure if she would be ready to spend the night with Chris. And she did not say this about Nick and Josh. So right there, I'm seeing some red flags. And I didn't know that she had, you know, some issues with Chris. I didn't know that she didn't feel very close to him. The only thing that I knew was that she was nervous about possibly moving to Iowa, living on a farm, and she addresses this with him. But as they talk more and more as the day and the date goes on, she's giving him the vibe that, you know, she's just not feeling him, that she's just not down with this whole thing. And then I'm like, oh gosh, I could tell that things were going south. And I was over in Beamly, which is a chat room, a free app, a TV app where we discuss our favorite TV shows. And I'm telling the guys and the girls who watch The Bachelorette over there that this is not looking good. I think Chris is going to be the one who goes home, because initially I thought it was going to be Nick. But when she's acting like this, I'm like, oh gosh. And she finally like confesses to him that using Iowa would just be an excuse. That's not really the reason she doesn't want to be with him. It's just that she doesn't feel that bond with him. She just doesn't feel like this is going to go anywhere. So this was hard for him to take, and it was surprising for him and a little bit surprising for me, because I thought she really liked him. She did really like his family. They seemed to really hit it off in the last episode, so he was pretty shocked. But she said instead of dragging him through a rose ceremony, making him wait and feel bad and about being rejected there in front of the other guys. She was just going to go ahead and tell him now, so a car came to pick him up and he had to leave, and I was really sad for him because he definitely seemed shocked and devastated, and I'm hoping that we're going to see more of him in the future. Hint, hint, if you Google, then you might find some information about that, and if you don't want to know any spoilers, then do not Google what I just talked about. I cannot believe how fast this season has gone by because, you know, it ended with the rose ceremony. She went ahead and did that, and the 2 guys accepted her rose, so it's just Nick and Josh, and next week is the Men Tell All episode, and then the next week is going to be the time when someone potentially proposes to her, which is crazy. I am so excited for these next 2 episodes, and I just can't believe it. I'm a little sad because it seems like this season has flown by, but I'm also super excited to see who she picks. And again, like I've said for quite a while now, I think that's going to be Josh. So you definitely want to watch with me the Men Tell All and the finale, and watch along and chat along in Beamly. I'm going to put that link down below. It's free, it's fun. We tell all our thoughts about what's going on as they're happening in live time. So join me if you haven't joined me yet. And if you have joined me yet, then you already know. If you've already joined me, you know how much fun it is. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Kellie TV. And like always, I will see you next time.
Inside like the 4th of July.